Welcome back, guys. This is Acidic Root, so we're gonna dive into part 3 of Mystic Quest. So here is the mini-boss, or the sub-boss, before we head to the Ice Pyramid. And he's kind of a pushover, so it's really not too difficult. There are a couple henchmen that are gonna get in the way, but really just take them out first. It's simple math to do that, so. But luckily, it's one of the main reasons why I have the computer be on automatic, is just because they know what attacks to do. I mean, me trying to take control of BB, I have to figure out what would work best with them, but it's kind of half and half. You know, anytime you head into a dungeon, particularly one that's going to have a crystal or something large in there, you're going to want to decide if you want to be automatic or manual, because if the computer will use most of its black magic pretty quickly. If you don't want that to happen and you want to save it for special moments, even fighting the boss, I mean, it's like, well, there you go. So, but keep in mind, you can't just wipe out half the enemies in the dungeon, leave, and then come back and one. You have to do it all in one go. So, I don't really care. It makes things easier because most of the more annoying enemies are the ones at the beginning. I'm just trying to get into it, and then once I do, I usually level up in the process, so it just becomes easier. And as long as you find the treasure chests, I mean, really, they put potions and healing potions in there, so it's simple enough. The fact of the matter is, you might run out of magic. So I am interested in seeing some of the later ends in the game as to whether or not you know, they're going to start selling other items and stuff. The only thing I can buy right now is this cure. Can't even buy anything in the forest town at the beginning, so. Yeah, so I am going to try to talk to a lot of characters in this game. I'm going to talk to them twice, you know, before the plague and after the plague. I'll definitely talk to them both times to see how it differentiates. But I know this game was large enough to where they could do that, so don't think just when you talk to someone that they're not going to have something in the future to say. But I kind of thought that, though. I just, you know, it was kind of half and half as far as realizing it. But okay, we're going to get the Jumbo Bomb. So that, obviously, bombs are your friend. You're definitely going to want bombs because it attacks multiple enemies. I think the most amount of enemies that can be on screen at once is 3, but you know, you do have to deal with whether or not they're faster than you, and if they get to attack 3 times, or you get to attack once. I mean, that's just half the thing. I mean, BB is faster than you until you start leveling up, and then or your party members normally faster than you until you catch up with them, and then, you know, things start to fare better. But you know, one thing I noticed, you know, when I was playing through this, I noticed that I got some armor that you actually do have to search for, but I mean, it really would have helped had I just been able to buy it. Had, you know, in normal Final Fantasies, you're able to, you don't have to use dungeons to find every piece of armor. You kind of just go to the inn, buy it, and it helps you with the subsequent bosses. But I mean, this one's kind of a skewed, but it's not a terrible thing, but it just would have been simpler just being able to buy it and then level up to boost your defenses and stuff. But yeah, so try to explore the Ice Pyramid for those who haven't played this game by now. It's tedious, but it's not. I don't want to say tedious. It's a trial, but there's stuff here that'll boost your character. So this is the main thing about it. And the thing about the fancy thing about this dungeon is that you can't see the enemies that you're gonna fight. They are invisible, so you don't avoid them. So this is kind of why this dungeon takes longer than the rest of them. Had I been able to see the enemies, Not that I think it matters, because most of them are blocking a path that you have to go to, but I probably would have been able to decide where I wanted to go. This is a big maze, that's the thing. Pyramids, I've never been in an actual pyramid, ones in the deserts and stuff, but it makes me wonder if they're in similar design to this. So, that'd be a pretty cool vlog, I'd say. Considering I'm a vlogger, I'd like to see someone go to a pyramid and show the inside of it. Supposing you could. I mean, that's the thing. You know, it's always a pain in the ass. You know, like when you go to concerts and you can't bring your camera and they don't want you filming it, putting it on YouTube and stuff. But, you know, whether or not an ancient pyramid that's probably over 300 or 400 years old, you can't show that off. It'd be like hell, I mean. But, like to say, what the shit. These female snake enemies are a pain in the ass just because they can confuse you, they can put you to sleep, and I think there's like one other status ailment they can do. So, I do actually chop out a few moments here. So obviously the reason why I chopped this out is just because I went in the wrong direction. So I figured, you know, the most you're going to get is just some treasure chests that just give you potions and cures and stuff, so... I'm probably going to start doing that when we get to later dungeons. I'm just going to chop out some of the enemies. It's going to be more work to, you know, chop out every fight, but I think half of me wants to show the new enemies, but then I also want to not bore us to tears with, you know, hour and 50-minute videos just because there's, you know, 30, 40 fights in there. I mean, I fought a lot in this palace. That's the whole thing about it, I really did. And, I was almost counting them just because I was just like, damn, you know, how many of these enemies am I going to bump into? But, I mean, it's not so much that it's not fun, it just is that there's just a lot of enemies in this dungeon. That's the thing, if every single dungeon, I thought it was just going to be visible like it was in the Bone Cavern, the first place, the Bone Dungeon. So that probably would have made things more prompt, but... I mean, don't think that this game isn't stellar just because there's a lot of fighting. That's not the case, but this may test your patience. So. These little old men, these mage dudes, these are like the runner-up for most annoying enemy because they'll heal themselves, and they do have magic also, so it's kind of the thing. But Phoebe can whoop their ass pretty good, so it's not too bad about that. But you know, obviously the GP is going to help because you're going to want bombs. I almost run out of bombs in this dungeon, and I regret just not spending the money and getting like 50 of them or something, which probably would have been 500 GP, but I could have used them just because bombs, especially jumbo bombs, they're effective. So they don't quite one-shot these folks, but they get pretty close. Phoebe can one-shot most of these fellows. So you want to use the sword to poke some of those pharaohs or statues. So, ice pharaohs, huh. Yep, I was mad when that happened. But I wonder if you can guess what the boss of this dungeon is for those who haven't played this game. It's kinda, I mean, it's interesting seeing some of the enemies. The enemies all have interesting designs. I like the squid enemy. The mages are not too terrible. There's an eyeball enemy later on that's, you know, that's decent. I mean, its eye really starts to pulsate when you're about to kill it, so that's pretty prompt. And legit, I guess that'd be a better thing to say. I need to start saying that more. It's kind of an old term, but I just didn't follow the trend when it was more, you know, rapid, rampant. Legit. These mages are not legit. So. But Phoebe has a lot of white magic, so that's the thing. It's not as if every single party member is going to have a lot of white magic, though. Phoebe's kind of like a healer in some senses, but you know, like some of these next characters, like I think one of them is called Ruben, and there's like a Spencer and a Captain Mac. I mean, the game has done well with introducing these fellows, but the thing about it is I don't remember, you know, what their strengths are. If some of these guys are just full-on attackers, or you know, distant attackers, long distance, you know, like Legolas, some of those dudes. But I know there's a couple battles that throughout this playlist are going to wind up getting long, just because the status effects get so bad. Like there's one time where I get put to sleep, and then Phoebe gets put to sleep, and then we both get confused, and then the attacks miss and that sort of thing. So it's a real festival. But I did. So yeah, I'm glad I skipped the battles. It's good. The Sphinx, those things suck too. They're not good enemies. Bought some pizzas. I'm probably gonna have one of those tonight, seeing as I'm gonna be awake into the wee morning hours. Definitely gonna have to cook a pizza to get me through. I mean, a frozen pizza, I can basically eat about 6 pizzas in one night, and 6 out of 8. That's pretty extensive, but I always am left hungry the next day when I only have 2. It's just like, fuck. I do wish that they would have larger pizzas. I kind of want them to upgrade the size a bit, so I could either cut it into 10 slices or just have 4 big slices or something like that. But it's not really so much me complaining as much as, you know, I just like them so much. That's the thing. You like something so much you complain about it. But I've got a Powerade sitting here. I've got some Mountain Dew Baja Blast. I'm gonna have a pretty nice night. I just have to figure out, you know, what is gonna be the entertainment for tonight. The main thing. I have to. That's the decisions that I have to uphold. Nice little burp. So yep, even in Mystic Quest, even in Final Fantasy, we have to throw a burp in just for old time's sake. But I do think I'm gonna switch up the menu eventually, maybe in part 4 or 5. It won't be green next time. Here are those eyeball enemies I was telling you about. Yeah. But yeah, these things, they do an attack called self-destruct that is kind of annoying, because it can wipe out Zone, or your hero character. So luckily Phoebe has the life spell, so she can just bring it back most of the time. That's the thing. Normally I don't heal in battle. That's kind of just a tactic of mine. I wait until I'm out of the battle, so that way I don't have to use the cure spell. I can just use the cure potions that don't take up your magic. I like saving my magic for the final boss or just tougher enemies, so you know, that way it's an easier time. I mean, Phoebe is kind of the other way around, but so yeah, like right now Phoebe is not that damaged, but she does have one segment of her health gone. So I probably would heal. I'd probably heal her out of a battle, but this is the main thing. Like, I could use some health right now, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to clear out this area. I mean, most of the time you have so much HP that it's not too likely that you're going to get annihilated. You know, to quote Final Fantasy VI, you get annihilated. You're not, it just doesn't seem like that'll happen, but you know, that's tactic for this game. Is just me healing outside of battle, and then it's kind of half and half as to whether or not it's worth it, because there are a lot of fights that you have to do in order to get to those treasure chests. I mean, it's not like you can just walk up to them and say, "Oh, there's a chest." Well, no. There's gonna be trials involved with it. So, I think most people would know that, but I mean, to me, it's just whether or not it's worth it just to get some more arrows for Phoebe. Like Phoebe, I don't really have to go out of my way to make sure she has arrows. They kind of hand them to you, but I think if you run out of arrows, she will leave. So, but she has 80, you know, over 80, so it's not too integral or integral. I forget how you pronounce that. Integral to the plot. Just trying to skip a few battles. I think you can actually jump over enemies, but I'm not sure. Yeah, those birds, you don't want to touch those birds with physical attacks because they'll petrify you. So I tried using the sword, but it's just not good. Either the sword or the cat's claw. The axe will knock them out. So I'm about a third of the way done with this. I am going to have to break this up into segments just because it's 52 minutes. I don't want to scrap this down the road, but I probably will do more than a third this time just so I can give myself an easier time. So we're just going to have fun with Mystic Quest Part 3. September, I see being a good month. I definitely do. This then talks to my future self when I happen upon this video. Kinda, it's gonna go up September 26th. So, yeah, that's just days before October. I do like that time of year. It's definitely good. Some of the goody things that are happening and stuff. But yeah, a lot of these videos are going to be themed with a similarity to Adult Swim, just because that is a pretty now classic type thing. I definitely have appreciation for it, so I mean, I'm almost at the point in wondering if Adult Swim is ever going to have like live action shows or something like that. I mean, it's got a pretty, you know, slick theme. Family Guy's been on there, shows like that, so even though Aqua Teen Hunger Force is pretty much what I roll with, it's the main thing. But, same thing, I'm still kicking it with my VCR, that sort of thing. Beavis and Butthead. Same old. Frenchie and I getting Taco Bell. And, playing the NES to the wee hours of the morning. Me drinking Dr. Pepper, Red Bull. It's still going on. I mean, these are just old habits. You know, old habits die hard. You know, some of those quotes. A lot of those old quotes that you hear when the gang and I apply them, it definitely holds true. So, you know, whether you want to say like money over everything, I don't know if it's that deep. You know, you may have heard terms like that. You know, some say bros over hoes or money over bitches, but I don't know about money over everything. It's kind of, you know, there's probably one of those for loyalty too, but you know, those general mantras, I just think they need editing. It's the main thing about it. I mean, they're prompt, but at the same time, it's they're not flawless. I'm just gonna sip a Dr. Pepper and, you know, enjoy September. You know, that's definitely the thing about it. It's pretty awesome. If Phoebe gets confused, she will attack your hero character if you don't heal her. So the idea is to at least have a heal, and you know, later down the road you will get the heal spell if you find it. So I think you actually get it after the boss of the ice pyramid. So you will have it. It's very useful. The thing about RPGs is those status ailments, you think it's a cakewalk until you start getting poisoned. And I don't know if zombie is going to be in this game too. It's in Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6. So when I refer to Final Fantasy 6, I'm talking about the game with Kefka in it. I just call it by the Japanese version just because it's more slick to say that. In America, it's Final Fantasy 3, but it needs to be Final Fantasy 6. By 2018, everyone calls it Final Fantasy 6, but just, you know, in case there's folks that don't know that. But zombie being in the game and petrify, I'm wondering some of these ailments that are going to be in there. I can deal with getting poisoned. I don't like getting confused. Getting confused pisses me off. I don't. That's the one, just because, you know, normally your partner's attacks can somehow whoop the shit out of you. I mean, they don't one-shot the enemies, they'll one-shot your team members. What the fuck? I mean, it happens. That's the thing. Phoebe can totally whip my ass, and it's not helpful. So, but yeah, the game is trying to imply to heal your party member, but I mean, I find it easier to just beat the enemies and then do it. So I kind of slipped. You know, they don't put edges, so you can find the treasure chest, but there is some sort of prize down here. And every direction has an enemy. That pissed me off. Like, if you were to see them on screen, there'd be probably in 5 different directions. No matter which way you go, you're gonna bump into an enemy. That pissed me off. But yeah, there's something down here, so you think that you don't want to go down here, you might as well. So you're gonna need the armor. I think I'm just gonna make these 26 minutes. I think I can do that. So the next session of part 3 is just gonna happen at like the 26 or 27 minute mark, and you know, that way I don't have to do 3 sessions, because I mean, this is pretty long, but should be simple enough. Give me some time. I'll get something to drink, get a little food. You know, maybe think about cooking that pizza, but I kind of want to cook the pizza after I get part 3 totally taken care of. I just don't like, you know, having my dessert before the work is finished. I mean, there are some cases that I do, but most of the time I don't, so. But I know I have to get this done. Probably gonna put some Dr. Peppers in the fridge. I've got a handful of those left. Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, you know, when I've watched those Jealous Guy videos that Nintendo Capri Sun did, he didn't really mention too many other sodas that much. I don't recall him mentioning Dr. Pepper or Sprite or root beer that much. I mean, he might have shown root beer off maybe once or twice, but the main drink that he had was Coke. This makes me wonder what his second favorite was. This is an offhanded thing. For fellows out there who are fans of Nintendo Capri Sun, I mean, I'm the same way. You know, the Runaway guys, what they're doing. I think they've actually kind of gotten healthy, though. I'm not sure how all 3 of them react to soft drinks, but I mean, That's the crew. But, you know, my crew, we're drinking sodas, so as is the thing. Definitely gonna happen. Salty Joe. Oh, I'm so proud of my name. More on that later, but yeah, Salty Joe is a nickname of mine. I'm not sure if I press that statue. I think you're actually supposed to, but we'll see. Yeah, there you go. Noble armor. But we are getting deep in the pyramids. That's the main thing. It makes you wonder what's left. I mean, it's close to the end, but there's still a few extra things. Alright, so I'm going to talk for like a few more seconds, and then we'll... Yeah, I think I'll just... So the next session will conclude this video and stuff. Okay, we're back. So, we're gonna wipe out this ice pyramid and see what they have to say afterward. So, we do have a few more battles on our hands, but simple enough. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check out the armor. But the thing is, that armor that I got a little bit ago, you don't equip like you do in normal Final Fantasy games. It equipped it for you, so I guess my defense went up. So, but if I didn't equip it, that sucks. And I was kind of thinking that I would equip it, but so that's... We're just gonna heal up and then progress, trudge forward. So. So it's kind of like a action RPG slash puzzle in some cases, but you know, the thing about later Final Fantasies is they do actually use puzzle elements. I think that was one of the main reasons why I didn't keep going with Final Fantasy 9 and 7, is I think you actually have to be good at the card game in order to progress in Final Fantasy 9. And then in Final Fantasy 7, there's like some game that you have to do that you have to win. I mean, it's not something that is like hard beyond definition, but it may trip you up. I mean, the thing, if you ask people from 20 years ago, you ask people from if you ask people from 20 years ago if they had problems with the mini games in Final Fantasy 7, they might say, yeah, it kind of tripped me up, but this game doesn't do that. I mean, it does have puzzles, but I don't think it should, you know, be game breaking. I think this is going to be clear sailing. This is the longevity of it. That's the thing. That's kind of how I felt about Final Fantasy 1. I mean, I was actually willing to play through that game and see what was going on. I mean, the dialogue in that game, because it was the first one, you know, it did have to improve, but they did improve pretty quickly. I think the main plot was just, you know, the king needs your help to save the world, so you and your band of buddies are going to have to do that. But later ones, the story's gotten more involved. But, I mean, I mean, Final Fantasy might as well be a game that's a 10 out of 10 by today. There's no way that the impact of it isn't there. But that's kind of why this game is awesome is just because it's the same thing. It's just like it. I mean, this game, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy II, Final Fantasy VI. I mean, these are some of the good ones. So I don't know. I mean, you know, so many people say, "Well, are you ever gonna, you know, bust out an Xbox One or an Xbox 360, play some of those Final Fantasies?" Probably not. It's not so much that they're bad. It's just I don't see how my taste for them. I just grew up on the 2D ones, so. I need to crack my neck. I can't do it. Axe is good against those ice crabs. But you want to use the axe when you can, just to take them out sooner. And yeah, I'm not sure. You're not supposed to fall yet. You are supposed to fall eventually, but I think I forgot to poke this dude. There's something you're supposed to do here, you'll see. In time. But, I mean, just remember, you don't have to fight every fight. And it's actually simple to run away most of the time, so. Just kind of said to hell with it. I did that a lot in Final Fantasy VI. I mean, when I got to, like, there's like this dungeon with lava in it, like the Esper's Cavern or something like that, I don't remember. But some of those places in the last bit of the first half I just wound up skipping, and I'll tell you, it's the world of Ruin is pretty horrid. That's the thing, they do have some nasty enemies. The random battles are just nuts. So I do actually think there's like something that allows you to walk 100 feet, and I don't remember what it is. It allows you to, you have to buy them, but you can basically walk 100 feet before getting into a battle, and that is a lifesaver. So. I do actually like the grinding. I mean, that's the thing. I do like grinding. It just is that, trying to, I mean, because if I were to fight every enemy in this dungeon, this would probably be like an hour and 45-minute video. And that's kind of the thing. I mean, the game is implying that you're trying to see everything, but, you know, I don't think it's intended for just like a kind of scratching the surface walkthrough, like there's any problem with that. But you know, most of the time you want to intend to actually play through the game, but that's kind of, I'm just, what I really want to do is I want to show the storyline bits, just in case, you know, some of that stuff hasn't been shown that much, or you have to search and really search through how many walkthroughs to get to it. That's kind of where I'm going with that. But I do try to show off the occasional treasure chest, not too. But, I mean, there are a lot of battles you have to do, so just, you know, just expect hesitance. This is a pretty cool place, you know, no pun intended. The Ice Pyramid. Don't mind too much. You know, there's been folks out there that have praised the music in this game, so I do like it. I think, you know, there's like some dude that normally composes the music in Final Fantasy games, and he might have done this. This is, I mean, once again, this is a spin-off, but it's a damn good spin-off. That's the thing. That's why I like spin-offs sometimes, so it's when they don't suck. You know, really like, you know, supposed, like they're doing a Fast and Furious spin-off. I think they're still doing that, I'm not for certain, but anytime a spin-off works, it always enhances the series a lot more. That's definitely the thing. I'm glad that that worked. This definitely was like the thing, but I think the guy that did the music normally for Final Fantasies might have done the music in this game. So those are, you know, those are good for what they were. It's not like it's this ugly music playing that you just want to mute. The thing about that, haven't had too many video games where I've had to mute the music because I hated it so much, which is a good thing. There's the boss of this dungeon, and we're gonna fight him. So we just need the cat claw, which I forgot about. Waha. But he teleports away. So we have to find him. Where could he have gone if he went to the basement? There's four floors in this pyramid. Kinda makes you curious as to where the hell he went. Apparently you can blast away those doors, but I don't really know what the point in that was. But maybe it was intended that there was more to this dungeon, but, you know, once again, I mean, you get arrows a lot in this dungeon, that's the thing. You're gonna get a lot of arrows. I was really hoping for bombs, that was the main thing. I said that before, that was the thing that I needed, was just more bombs. And but this dungeon is about over, so that's the thing. It's most of what the rest of this video is going to consist of is just the boss character. So I'd say probably about 10, 12, 14 minutes, something like that. But he does have some tricks up his sleeve. He's a big dude, so it'd make you think that his strength is high, but you know, I was surprised that you couldn't get frozen in this. That's kind of something that happens sometimes. I probably should have snipped some of these battles. They probably needed to be like 48 minutes. I think I could have done that. So I'm just going to have to remember to do that for part 4. Is, you know, snip more of the battles. I mean, some of these I like to keep because the enemies are there, but I think you've seen most of these guys by now. There's not too many more that are just gonna pop up all of a sudden. By not too many, I mean none. So, the Griffin enemy, the Sphinx, and then the Eyeball were later additions, but that's about the most that are in here. This might have been that long battle that I was talking about. I don't know what's up with my accuracy though. I've missed several times. There you have it. Trying to bring up some extra stories and stuff. And listening to the radio. It's basically, you know, me listening to pop radio. When you get pop radio, you basically get rap, R&B, and pop all in one, which is not bad, but I'm really just looking for like a megaton song, you know, something that just wipes everything else out. But this is kind of tricky as far as what to find. Okay, here we go. And in that treasure chest, I think, is the heal ability. I guess I'll talk to you about the radio, have some Muzak rants while I'm here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I listen to the radio, but most of the time I'm just focusing on what I'm gonna do. But I don't really stuff down in the basement. I don't really... I mean, I sip Red Bull down there. There's not really any video games down there. I have the television and VCR, but I don't know. I mean, that's just the thing. I need like a killer song to sit there and back some of this stuff. I'm sure a lot of you have heard Drake songs like In My Feelings and God's Plan by now, and a Nicki Minaj song or two, like Bed, and some of those fellows. I'm trying to think of who else, Halsey, and Selena Gomez, but I don't know, this is hard finding music that has good production. There's like some song called Nevermind that's pretty raw. I mean, that song kicks ass, but I just don't hear it that much. It sounds like something you would play not just on a Friday night, but also like on a Thursday or a Saturday night, just saying, oh hey, this isn't get drunk night, but it is maybe social drink night, you know, for people who go out but don't get shit-faced, but just have a drink or two, and it kind of gives you that tipsy feeling, but not quite. I mean, that's Thursday night material, and that's just what it feels like. In that sense of that, I mean, Nevermind, that's just a good song. This is so somber. It attracted me. I'm usually attracted to somber. Very similar to, well, I like things like Edgar Allan Poe. That's definitely a thing. I mean, that is a man of shadow right there, and I have respect for that. I feel like Brandon Lee in The Crow, I mean, if that would have actually been his personality, I don't remember, I didn't see that movie, but I can tell just by the pictures that it's pretty dark. Movies like Batman Returns and The Crow and, you know, in some cases The Nightmare Before Christmas, those types of stuff. Tim Burton, but also just shadier movies. Something that Marilyn Manson would watch, you know, that sort of stuff. I mean, that kind of strikes even, so I just felt like Nevermind by Dennis Lloyd, if you're wondering who that is, it just strikes a chord. And it's a pop song, that's the thing about it, is it's pop related, that's the main thing to it. So Phoebe dumps us, but so we're on our own again. And we also have to get out of the dungeon, but as long as you just go back the way you came, you won't have to worry about, you know, fighting the same enemies and stuff. Yeah, I just kind of was thinking off and on how to actually get out of here. That's the thing, you don't pay attention. I mean, that's one thing to do, is to pay attention to how you get to where you're going, so you don't get lost on the way out, because you'll wind up fighting more enemies that you don't want to. So, see, you can tell by the structure just by this going all the way left and then all the way right. They wanted you to fight these enemies like that, so main thing. Just basically, it's just a labyrinth. Well, I don't want to use that word too much. A labyrinth. Think of the last time you used the word labyrinth. It's crazy, but it's basically what the fuck it is. It's an entire labyrinth. You know, and of course, you know, fighting without Phoebe is quite a pain in the ass. So, I don't know. I mean, I was kind of wondering if I should do some of those battlefields, but I mean, it really requires, you know, a lot of patience to sit there and fight all 10 of the waves of them. So I level up enough in the dungeons. I think I'll probably be at like level 40 or 50 something by the time I get to the 4th crystal and stuff. There's going to be a lot of fighting. I mean, just because there's only 4 crystals doesn't mean there's only 4 places where you're going to fight. So now this last 8 minutes is just going to reflect on the stuff that, the aftermath of the ice pyramid. I am going to talk to some of the civilians. Both kind of weird. So you might be wondering why there's a ladder there. If it's just going to lead you to water, there's a reason for it. Probably should have done that before I went in and fought. Probably would have helped me more, but I did it. That's the main thing. I don't know what these refreshers do, I'm not sure. They don't seem to really help me that much, so I just said the hell with it. I just have them there, basically. I believe that's a warp. So we're gonna find out. It'll probably take us somewhere that's involved. So that jump move comes in handy. You know, I think that's a complaint, you know, an offhanded complaint that some people say about regular Final Fantasy games is the NPCs get in the way, non-player characters. So we're gonna talk real quick to Phoebe. You know, couldn't have waited until after we left the pyramid to leave, but. No bad blood though. It's not like that. This kind of joke. But yeah, the secret. I mean, this is needed for the storyline, so you do have to go here. I was under the impression that there were enemies here, but there's not. So, it's kind of a pretty little place. Blue water's pretty and stuff. We do have to find Spencer, so just sit tight and you'll see what happens. But we're also going to get introduced to some new characters. That's next time. I just have to conclude this real quick, but that's just about all that's left. Makes me wonder what's going to impede, or what we're going to have to deal with before the 3rd crystal. Nice little random burp. I didn't have any soda, so I don't know where that came from. There's another one. 3 cure potions. That is basically the easiest thing to get in this game, are the cures. I'm not complaining, I mean, you know, for that to reflect on my karma. I mean, you're gonna need those cures, but you do find they're easy to find, so that's the main thing. So they keep mentioning this Captain Mac. We're gonna bump into him, and so they said, you know, some woman said that he was weird, but we'll find out what makes him weird. I'm interested in that myself. I don't know if he's just gonna be like Sid. You know, Sid, the normal Sid character from the Final Fantasy games, is usually pretty wiry, but I don't know if that, you know, if a Sid makes it into this game too. There's really not that many NPCs in this game, though. That's the main thing about it. There's really not a ton of conversations going on. This is straightforward. I mean, most of the stuff you're going to be doing in this game is grinding. I was kind of hoping for more characters that served a purpose, I mean, but, you know, just, it's funny, you go to these towns and you can only talk to, like, 2 people. It's like, what the shit? So he's telling us where to go, but I actually went in the wrong direction, so you're gonna see that. You're not gonna quite be able to see where we're actually supposed to go, but we'll save that for part 4. So it's going to be once again blind. I've done most of this game blind. I mean, I knew how to get past the bone dungeon and how to get to the ice pyramid, but I didn't know how to defeat the ice pyramid. I don't know what's happening after this, so I'm just going to have to decide what to do. And you know, I'm going to kind of wonder if I should keep doing this game blind, because you know, that's what causes you to take longer. So we just have a minute left, or yeah, we're almost done. Actually, that's the thing. So gotta conclude this. All right, subscribe for more fun. I guess I'll talk for a little bit longer. So yeah, go watch some burp videos, and we got a little bit longer. Go watch some burp videos, enjoy yourself. Hit up Pizza Hut if it's Friday, do some shit, you know, treat yourself, enjoy the Friday. If your dogs are barking, you know, your feet are tired, kick back, relax, do all that sort of shit. Just get some good grub. You know, let me kick ass. So have a Coke and a smile, basically. You don't like Coke, have a Pepsi and a smile, you know what I mean? Alright, subscribe for more fun, and stay tuned for part 4.